Okay, so for homework I had asked you to take a look at practice 10.6. I asked you to do the evens. So taking a look at the evens here. Problem number 2, it says we have 8.2 y is equal to 64.5. We take the log of both sides. We could bring the y down. And then divide both sides by the log of 8.2. And you'd get y is equal to, this would be 1.9802. Problem number 4, it says 2 to the b plus 1 power is equal to 7.31. We're going to do the same thing. Take the log of both sides. Bring the b plus 1 down. Divide both sides by log 2. We'll get b plus 1 is equal to 2.8699. And if we subtract 1 on both sides, we'll get 1.8699. Now for a problem like 6 is a little bit different. And don't forget all the properties of logs that we've talked about up to this point. Log base 4 of 91.8. Now, we can't really do this the way we did before. It's not an exponential equation, but we can make it one using the translation property. We could write this 4 to the k power is equal to 91.8. Now it's the same thing as before. So don't forget the properties that we've already talked about. Just keep those in your back pocket. This will be k times the log of 4 is equal to the log of 91.8. And if we divide both sides by the log of 4, we'd get that k is equal to 3.2602. Number 8, it says 7 to the 3b power is equal to 12 to the b plus 2. We'll go ahead and take the log of both sides, log base 10. We could bring those powers down. Generally what I do is I divide by whatever the log is if we have to distribute. So I don't want to convert this to a decimal and then distribute a decimal. That's going to get really sloppy. So I'm just going to do this here. Divide both sides by log 12. And I get b plus 2 is equal to 3 times the log of 7 divided by the log of 12. Comes out to 2.3493b. So if I subtract 1b on both sides, I get 1.3493b is equal to 2. And if we divide both sides by the number in front of b, 2 divided by, let's see here, I'm getting 1.4823. A couple more, number 10. It says 7x to the 9/8 power is equal to 111. Now we have a couple different ways we could solve this. It's not an exponential equation, so we don't have to use logs. We could divide both sides by 7 and just solve this like a basic equation like you already know. If we divide both sides by 7, 111 divided by 7 is 15.8571. And if we want to get x to the first power, we could raise both sides to the 9/8 power. If we raise both sides to the reciprocal power, or I'm sorry, not 9/8, so the reciprocal of 9/8 would be 8/9. Well, this would just be power to a power you multiply. X to the first is equal to 15.8571 to the 8/9 power. Comes out to 11.6645. So remember, logs they're just another tool that we have, but you need to know when it's appropriate to use them. If you insist on using logs, sorry, there's a dog barking outside. We could divide by 7 here. We get x to the 9/8 power is equal to 15.8571. And you could use logs if you feel like it. It's not necessary because this isn't an exponential equation, but you could use logs. We're going to bring this down because that's a power property. And I'm going to type into my calculator, what's the log of 15.8571? My calculator is telling me it's 1.2002. Let's try to get that x by itself, so I can divide both sides by 9/8. And we get log x is equal to, this is 1.0669. And we see a problem like in the last section. The way that we can get rid of log, put a little 10 here. Remember, that's a common log. And we could use the translation property. 10 to the 1.0669 power is equal to x. And if you were to type that into your calculator, you'll get 11.6645. You see, we get exactly the same answer we got before. There's just a couple different ways we could do it. And then our last problem from the homework, number 12. It says we have the fourth root of 3 to the 4x plus 5 power is equal to 7 to the x. Now we can do this a few different ways. One way that I know is logs and powers work well together. Let's convert this radical to the 1/4 power. And then we could do a power to power and distribute that. This would just be 3 to the x plus 5/4 is equal to 7 to the x. And even though it's a decimal, it's the same level of difficulty as problem number 8. Where at this point we could take the log of both sides, bring the powers down, going to divide both sides by the log of 3. And I get x plus 5/4 is equal to log 7 divided by log 3 is 1.7712x. Subtract the 1x on both sides, and we get 5/4 is equal to 0.7712x. And if we divide both sides by the 0.7712, we get x is equal to 1.6208. All right, stay tuned for the next lesson.